NASCAR went short track racing this weekend at Richmond. It was Chris Buescher and RFK Racing who gets the win.
Wynn's gonna punch his ticket to the championship four.
Got him this time. Oh, he turned it!
No! Make room! Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. There's another seven-time champ. By Logano, maybe no! Kenza takes him out.
Using lessons learned from his father to go from 6th to 1st and score the victory in the Pepsi 400.
20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. 3 flags in the air.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Cameron Simpson. Hopefully you guys are having a really good day because I am going to make a little adjustment there. Anyway, we're talking about NASCAR at Richmond. The NASCAR Cup Series went short track racing at Richmond. It was a hot, slick day. The cars weren't driving amazing and it brought some interesting races and some interesting moments. So I thought, why not we break it down today? So, first off, thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Let's start with the winner of the race, Chris Buescher. Dominated the second half of the race, arguably. I think he dominated the second half of the race. Absolutely ran up front. Him and his teammate were neck and neck, dominating, if you asked me, in the first half of this race. Chris Buescher dominated the second half of the race. He had a really fast car. He and his teammate, Brad Keselowski, were running 1-2 for the majority of the third stage and were dominant. They were the force to be reckoned with. They were the team to beat in the second half of the race. While Toyotas looked very good in the front half, Fords really did shine at the end. And kudos to Brad Keselowski. I want to say that at the start of the show. I think NBC did a great job. I think other people have done a great job saying this, but Brad Keselowski came to RFK Racing, and I think many people, including myself, were highly questioning his decision. Oh, did he just go here so he could get paid better? Did he just go here so he could do this or this? I don't think we really thought about what it meant for Brad K, that he wanted to go and develop a team the way that so many other people want to do. When I looked at this decision, I said, this is a bad decision for Brad Keselowski. This is a bad decision for RFK. And that's what I thought. I didn't think this was a good decision at all. I thought it was a bad decision. I didn't like the decision. I thought it was a bad decision by Brad Keselowski, and frankly, I didn't think he did what he needed to do. I thought staying at Penske would give him the best chance to win a championship. I thought that this, and this, but I don't think we ever put in the fact that this is what Brad Keselowski wanted to do. This is how he wanted to develop his team. And I think he's done just an absolutely amazing job of not just trying to be the team owner who wins all the races and doesn't really develop the team, just is called the team owner. I think he wanted to develop his team, and you can tell he was in victory lane. He was congratulating Chris Buescher. Obviously an upset day for Brad Keselowski today because he wrecked. Not wrecked, sorry, I shouldn't say that. He didn't wreck. He had a terrible mistake on pit road. So obviously a really upset day if you're Brad Keselowski. You had a chance to win this race and you didn't because of a mistake. You would think you'd be livid, upset. Instead, he was congratulating. He was a supporting teammate and owner, a person that I think any driver would want to drive for. And months ago, I would have told you that this was a horrid decision by Brad Keselowski. But now, I feel like Brad K made the decision that was right for his team, for himself at the time. Maybe we thought he was doing it for the money. But I think, in reality, he has proving all of us wrong. That team is at least a round of 8 contender, and if they're showing their speed, I don't count them out of the championship 4. In a couple years, they could be back to where they were years and years ago. And Roush, the best thing that happened to them was getting that Keselowski in their name. Because Roush Fenway Keselowski wins their, I think it's the first ever race won with Keselowski behind the helm, locks that 17 car in the playoffs. And for Roush Fenway, before they were a no-name team, now they're a winning team who, I mean, I shouldn't say no-name, but, I mean, not a great-looking team. Now they're a very good team, and now they have developed themselves into a great team. So I'm very excited to see what the future holds. And for Chris Buescher, this is huge. I mean, a guy that has gone up and down. I believe this is his 3rd career win. He's gone up and down and all of these things in NASCAR. And finally to get that win is a really big deal for him. Because if he didn't get that win, that guy, poor guy, has gone so close. And when the caution came out at the end of that race, I said, there it is. His luck once again. Not going to be able to win the race. It is Chris Buescher luck that a caution comes out with 3 to go, and he almost didn't get that win. But this is a huge win for Chris Buescher, a huge win for Brad Keselowski, and a huge win for RFK. It locks that car in the playoffs. We'll talk about that in a second because the bubble had a big shifting day today. But first, let's look at individual storylines while we look at the results. Of course, Chris Buescher with his 3rd career win is snaps a long losing streak. So big deal for him in the first win of RFK with Keselowski on board. Denny Hamlin was pretty solid all day. He started 3rd, I think, finished 2nd. So a really, for that JGR Toyota, kept his nose clean for the most part today. He stayed clean, but there was an incident. The 5 car came up, did a little retaliation. I just think it was, I'm laps and laps down because, Larson had a horrid day today. I think it was, I'm a lap down. Here's Hamlin. Let's just bump him. So he did a little bump. No harm, no foul. It really didn't affect Hamlin at all. So I think Hamlin did a fine job at just handling the noise for the weekend. There was booing. There was, a lot of media attention on Hamlin this weekend. He did a good job of ignoring noise, going out there and getting another 2nd place finish. By the way, extending his points, Cushing, looking good come playoff time. This team is looking good. A championship threat, no doubt. And I think they're very motivated. Kyle Busch had a big bounce-back day after a bunch of terrible finishes the last couple weeks. He finishes 3rd. It's also good to see that with our short track program because that has been struggling as of late. Joey Logano appeared out of the abyss and finished 4th today on that final restart. Really helped him. He was not running towards the front for most of the day, but a kudos to that 22 team, as much as I don't want to say that. But they did what they needed to do, and they got it done. Ryan Preece in 5th today. That is a first top 10 for that team of the season. An awful year, but a really good finish and a really good effort. Top 10 for almost the entire race was that 41 in Ryan Preece. Great job. Of course, Brad Keselowski, like I said, had that pit road mistake. It cost them a lot of time. It was a driver error. He drove it in. The butt end of the car was sticking out. What can you do? Brad Keselowski had a slow pit stop, and he finished 6th. That restart did help him out a little bit. Martin Truex went off strategy in the 2nd stage and finished 7th. He had a car that could have won, but they decided to do that one-stop strategy that worked in the past at Richmond, but today just wasn't going to work. He ends up finishing 7th. Eric Almirola had a car that could have been top 10. It was top 10, could have been top 15, top 5, really. He had a solid day today. He's very good at these types of tracks, Eric Almirola. Austin Dillon, top 10, big finish for that 3 team. They need a win to get in the playoffs. Could it happen? I don't know why not. Kevin Harvick finished 10th today, followed by teammate Chase Briscoe in 11th. By the way, that's all 4 SHR cars in the top 15 today. Huge for that team. Bubba Wallace finished 12th. He had a car that looked like it could win this race today. It feels like Bubba Wallace has cars that could win. And he runs really good. He's just knocking on the door, and then it just falls off. Where are they missing? I don't know, but they got to figure it out for playoffs. Chase Elliott, another tough day for that team, finishes 13th, but they had a positive points day. We're going to talk about that in a second. Ryan Blaney in 14th, and the rookie Ty Gibbs had also a very good points day. So those are your top 15. Notables outside of the top 15, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell had an awful day today. All 3 of them, 18th, 19th, 20th. William Byron, really horrid day for Hendrick Motorsports. 3 of their drivers outside of the top 15. McDowell looked okay today, but we're looking at points drivers. AJ Allmendinger finished 27th in today's race. He's a points container. Daniel Suarez finished 33rd in today's race, and that will put us here as we look at the road to the playoffs. Let's look at the bubble drivers. So we're going to look at 14th, 15th, 16th on down. And 14th is Brad Keselowski now, 151 to the good. Of course, other drivers, Harvick's in 13th. He's 182. Everyone else is locked in. Bubba Wallace is 54 points to the good, right? He's got a pretty solid cushion. He had a solid run today, had a decent points day for that 23 team. They extended that points gap to 54. They're probably feeling really good. probably feeling really good about themselves after today's race. Bubba had a good car and a really decent day. Michael McDowell, 18 points to the good. A kind of tough day for that 34. They looked like they had contending speed, just didn't click for them. But they are going to have good runs. They are nowhere near comfortable because the rookie Ty Gibbs is now sitting in that 17th position, only 18 points out with 4 races left. The tracks coming up for him, we look at Michigan, okay, mainly a Ford track. So on that, I'm looking for Michael McDowell to run well. AJ Allmendinger, let's talk about him for a second. He missed practice, missed qualifying, had to start in the rear of the field because he went to the Xfinity Series race and ran at Road America, trying to do a little winning, trophy hunting for colleague or something like that. I got to criticize this decision because I don't understand right now, you're 22 points out of the playoffs, you have a chance to get in. You were looking pretty decent coming into this race. Obviously, you don't know how you're going to run here, but you're in playoff contention. I feel like playoffs in the Cup Series is more important than winning an Xfinity Series race, which he didn't. He finished 9th, had a really tough go of it at Road America. Why aren't we talking about that a little more? AJ Allmendinger needs to lock in focus. You're in the Cup Series. You're a Cup Series driver. You shouldn't be going to Road America. You should be putting in as much work as you possibly can at Richmond so that you could go out there and win a race. And I get it, everyone wants a trophy, and I get it, Road America is a road course, he's really good at them. He wants to take all those opportunities, maybe to get better for road courses down the line in the Cup Series, maybe I can give him that. But still, I feel as if AJ Allmendinger made a mistake this week. He really did. He needed to go out there and run well, and he just didn't. He made a mistake this week, simple as that. Suarez has another bad week, puts him 34 points out. He can still point his way in, but it's looking more and more like a win is going to need to be necessary for that 99 team, and they need to pick it up. 4 weeks left, and you've had 2 awful weeks. You need to figure it out. Chase Elliott, wow, an amazing day for that 9 points-wise. They're now 40 points back. Going into this race, we were saying there's no way they can point their way in. They need a win. Leaving this race, the conversation appears again. Can Chase Elliott point his way into the playoffs? All of a sudden, it's back. Can Chase Elliott do it? Look, he's 40 points. There's a chance, a slim chance. He's still got Watkins Glen on the schedule. That's a really good track for him. So I feel as if he could probably win this. There's 2 road courses left on the season. One of them, Shan Van Gisbergen is going to be at. So I have a feeling SVG is probably going to win that race. So anyway, with that, let's hit the gas or hit the brakes. So all in all, this race was just another Richmond race. I heard a lot of veteran drivers talk about, let's put Richmond back at nighttime. And I feel like, yes, can we put it back under the lights, more passing, more like entertaining? Like some of the best Richmond moments have been under the lights. And especially if we're going to have 2 dates for this track. A lot of people on social media calling for eliminate the two dates. Richmond, can it really support 2 dates? Well, let me tell you, the crowd today didn't look too great. It was also wicked hot in Richmond. It's been wicked hot there. So I don't know. Did that play a factor in fan attention? Probably. I mean, what fan wants to sit in wicked hot weather? So that could have played a factor into that. But can it hold 2 dates? I like the track. I don't mind it. I don't mind Richmond. But I do feel like one of these dates need to be at night. And the night race needs to come back. That will make it better. That will just make it better. Let's bring it. Let's bring back the night race for Richmond. A lot of drivers are calling for that. But as today's race went, a lot of single file, a lot of crazy racing at the back of the field, and a great job again by NBC to show those 3 wide battles for laps on laps on laps, and they ended up wrecking at the end. So really crazy racing in the back of the pack. But in the front, it was pretty calm. A dominating car won the race. He deserved it. So with that, I am going to hit the brakes on this race today. It's going to be below, it's going to be a C-, so it is technically hit the brakes. Wasn't a terribly entertaining race, wasn't a horrible race, but it just was on the other side. C- around the 60s and 50%-ish area. So that's me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like, subscribe, all of the other fun stuff. Until the next one, my name is Cameron Simpson, and peace out.